for 68 years. That's 50 on his part and 18 on mine. So I think very much like Greg said, when something comes along where you feel that you can find out a bit more about the material you've worked with for, nearly a century, I'd say, it's something that you're going to want to explore. And I think probably about 8 years ago now, there was the first, in my mind, I think probably Greg was in it well by then, but I was just starting to hear about sort of ethically sourced gold, and we wanted to work with it. And I think we pursued it for about a year, but it became very, very obvious very quickly that our supply chain was an out-of-work actor and a knapsack, and this was just not going to work for us. He would go up every now and again and come back every now and again with a little nugget, and so my brother who runs the production was saying, Steve, I don't think we can sustain this, so we dropped it. And that was it for a while, and about 3 years ago, Eric, who is also here from a group called Solidaridad, and it took me 2 years to be able to say that properly, which are an NGO that do work, sort of pre-work, if you like, for groups like Fairtrade. And he came to me at Basel, and he wanted to know if I was interested in working with sustainable gold, ethically sourced gold. And I was cynical about it. I told him my story, and but I wasn't that cynical that I was going to say no. So I said that we were interested, but let's see how it goes. Because his story was that with groups like his, that are a proper organisation and they're funded, well funded, that they will create a supply chain. And I think that was what was key for us. It was a supply chain. We have a business. As much as I would like to supply things, all sorts of different ethical things, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So that was 3 years ago, and we've done various bits of paperwork, and on our side, it was really about sort of identifying how we, within our business structure, could identify a product that had to be separated. Couldn't be worked with the general product, otherwise it's not sustainable. You can't actually sell it as that. So that worked back to like our casting companies and beyond we didn't know anything about. So maybe 4 or 5 months ago, it started to be that we're getting to this place where the gold was going to come, we were going to be certified, and so we met with Solidaridad, and actually with Fairtrade then, because they were by then working together. And I said, I think I need to go to the place. I need to see the source, because I can't enthuse about it unless I've actually seen where it's coming from and the difference it's made. So earlier this year, we were fortunate enough to go to 2 mines in Peru. One's the Orelsa mine, which is, I think, as we speak, is it certified? It's pretty close. It was, I think it was just one paper left to sign. But this mine have been working with Solidaridad and with Fairtrade for 4 years. And I don't really need, I don't think, to talk any more about the property and everything that you see there, because we've heard that from other speakers today. But it has an impact on you, that's for sure. Life is pretty hard if you're a miner in Peru, an artisanal miner. But anyway, the fact is that with this Orelsa mine, 4 years down the line, you could just instantly see how this was better. First of all, they weren't working with mercury, and we haven't really talked much about mercury today, but mercury is like the thing that it's just killing everybody. I mean, we talk about things like, oh, we can't eat tuna because it's got a high mercury level. My God, well, if there's a mercury pit right next to your front door and your kids are playing next to it, that's a mercury level. We saw this. And so any way of not working with mercury has got to be a good way. So we're invited into the office of the Orelsa mine, and the first thing that the mine director wanted to show us was his accounts. He was very proud of his accounts, and I figure, well, I've never really been excited about accounts myself, but I could understand that this was so relevant. You've got artisanal mines, which is normally like a family around a hole in the ground, and that's it. And they're bringing out things with a very small yield that then they get peanuts for, to be honest. And this was organised. He had accounts. And the great thing about it was there was 83 miners working together in the Uralsa mine. So rather than all these individuals with all their mercury pits and everything, 83 of them, every one of them became a shareholder, and every one of them, once this product hits the market, is going to benefit, you know, immensely from the way that they're working together. And it's not just about the fact that this gold, they're going to get what they should get for the gold and the, you know, a premium for what they're doing, but also the yields by working together, by being educated to work together and shown a different way. Just in, I think, maybe last year, they were processing 30 tons of ore, rock that's got gold in it, a month, and now they're up to 100. So this is just the same amount of people, but they're just by working, you know, in a better working practice. So that was fabulous, and I think that, you know, being Stephen Webster when I went, I had to take a film crew, so I took a film crew who's sitting there, and we made a film about it, which we would have liked to have shown today. We only saw it yesterday for the first time. It's 20 minutes long, but it really delivers the whole message, I think, of why, you know, you may want to work with a product that's more traceable, more sustainable, and, you know, it's brought to the market in a more responsible way. A couple of things that came out of that were, I think, very much like the story we just heard. You know, we were able to interview a miner, a woman miner, a miner that I had to walk 2 kilometres down a gold mine to go and find and interview him down there. You know, the story really was this thing. It was about everybody knows. I mean, you know, a miner is a person who knows that mercury is really, really bad. But what else do? You know, it's cheap. You can get it anywhere. It will, you know, during the process, mercury's pretty efficient. So that's what they have to do because there's no other way. So we interviewed some people, and like I said, the message was that it was really about how you can make their village, which is their community. It doesn't matter if it's a shanty town of shacks, it has a school, it has a football pitch, everywhere has a football pitch. And this is home, you know, and I think everybody wanted to make home safe. And I'm just going to use one example of a woman who we just were, this wasn't planned, just happened to knock on her door. And she was slightly cautious at first, but she let us in, and she was a miner, her husband was a miner, her home was probably 12 feet by 15 feet, I don't know, and she had 4 daughters, 2 daughters, 2 sons, 4 kids. She was pregnant, a very small sheep and 2 chickens were in her home, and her husband was down the mine. And one of the great things of this conversation was that within 5 minutes, we were all laughing together, because I said to her, do you have a competition with your husband about who brings home the most gold? And she said, well, of course I do. You know, what would you be thinking? And out of that, you know, this sort of banter started. And one of the little girls, she went out, and she came back in, and I talked about the fact that I had 2 daughters, and she gave me some rocks for my daughter. And I said to her that's fantastic. I said, a show and tell at school, you know, imagine these rocks, they've got gold in them. Excuse me, just one moment. See that? Well, I'm going to finish this bit, that's for sure. So, I always take stuff, so I took a load of footballs and coloured pens and all these things, and I gave all of the kids stuff, and I gave them the coloured pens, but this one daughter, she was about 14, and later when we were looking at film, she's kind of stroking these pens, and then she says to me that her dream is to be a fashion designer, and I just thought, my God, you know, we are so fortunate in our life that we can pretty much do anything. This kid wants to be a fashion designer, and I personally wanted this kid to be a fashion designer. That's just one story, you know. It's taken us, God knows how long, to get this community that looked like it was built on hell. To be honest, that's the only way I can describe it. That's their home. And I personally feel, on behalf of Stephen Webster and Garrard, you know, that I'm very, very passionate about the fact that people will be coming into our store now, getting engaged, getting married, and being offered the option, because it's an option. I can't imagine many people saying no, that they can have a Fairtrade gold, or they can have conventional gold. I'm still working with conventional gold as well, because between the two of us, we're both fighting over 400 kilos. So, and I think there's probably a lot more of you out there. But anyway, that's my story. Thank you very much.